Sooze.
Hey,
What's up, man?
Dude, what's going on?
Dude, welcome to Guitar Friends, episode 3. Today is the big day.
It's Les Paul Day.
It's the Les Paul Shootout Day. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And you brought over some new stuff that I've been buying a bunch of Les Pauls.
Yeah.
And the point of today is to look at Les Pauls of every kind of price point, going very cheap to very expensive.
Yeah.
And, kind of score them.
Yeah.
In terms of maybe sound, playability,
Yep.
maybe value. Maybe we'll give some points for mojo.
And value, we're saying the amount of money versus what you get out of it. Like that ratio, basically.
Totally.
Okay.
Totally.
Yeah. And what was the last one?
Maybe we'll give some extra points for mojo.
Mojo. That's just how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Maybe we just add a couple points if something really has great mojo. You know?
Like extra credit.
Yeah, because not all guitars have it.
Uh-huh.
But yeah.
And you want it. I mean, that's a valuable
It's
thing.
a desirable thing.
Absolutely.
So you brought that over. That's the only Gibson in the room. Well, not in the room.
Yeah, it's the only Gibson Les Paul
It's the only Gibson Les Paul
that we have. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is, I believe it's a 75 or 79. I can't remember, but this is a loaner.
Hold that up.
To me, yeah, it's beautiful. It's been very, very worn and played.
Yeah,
and
it looks disgusting.
See that? Yeah. It's also 17 pounds.
I've
It's
never
the
seen
heaviest.
a finish in such terrible condition all over the guitar.
And the back of the neck, I don't know if you see that on there.
I had a 98 Corolla, and that is what the paint did also. It hazed underneath, like the clear coat hazed under.
It's almost purple, like in certain spots.
Yeah, from that clear coat lifting and adding like a white film, like a gray on top of the black.
It's not in pristine condition at all, but it's a very cool guitar.
What year did you say it was?
I was told it was a 75 or 79. I can't remember what it was, but it's a vintage Les Paul Deluxe.
Terrible years for American manufacturing, like we talked about last time.
Yeah, and you said heavy, and this proves it.
So heavy.
Yeah.
That is one of the heaviest guitars I've ever encountered.
100%. Yeah.
You played it this weekend.
I played it a couple weeks ago on stage, and I remember just standing there going, I wish this wasn't on my shoulders. Just waiting for someone to talk, So
It's so heavy.
I want one of those ones that it holds it for you, and you just approach it and play it, and then you just walk away. You know, like an acoustic one. I want something to hold it for me.
Yeah, something else. Yeah, that's way too heavy for a guitar.
Yeah.
Points off for that.
But hey, I mean, this is would you call this a baseline in terms of a Gibson Les Paul?
Well, it's a deluxe.
It's a deluxe, and it actually says Gibson legally.
It's funny. I think they just wanted to come up with a cool name, but I don't know what's deluxe about the mini humbucker. Like, is it more fancy? Is it more special?
Is that really the only change on these?
That's it. It says deluxe on the truss rods sometimes. That one doesn't, but a lot of times they do.
Yeah.
I would guess that's not an original truss rod.
Yeah.
From that, but yeah, that's the only difference. Mini hums compared to regular humbuckers.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited because I've played all these guitars individually, but never back to back.
Never back to back. Let's get into it. How many do we have? We've got.
I think there's 8.
We've got the Chipsen, the Harley Benton. You brought your Agile, which I want to look at those kind of all together because they're like similar price points. Then we start jumping up the range. We go to this vintage brand one, and then we get into the Greco, and then into like retro sound, PRS, kind of territory, and probably that one. Yeah. So there's kind of like.
Should we go up in price? Is that a good way?
Yeah. Let's start with the cheapest. Okay. Let's start with the cheapest guitar, and we've got 3 cheapies.
The Chipsen.
We've got the Chipsen, we've got the Agile, and we've got the Harley Benton. Yeah. Let's try the Chipsen.
Let's do it. So much potential for neck breaks. They're all just like laying around.
We've never been at higher risk of neck breaks than the Gibson episode. Hey, how much lighter is that guitar?
It's 50% lighter. No, it might be more.
It's more. It's not. It doesn't weigh half of what that other one weighs. That's less than half.
It's got to be 6 pounds.
For sure.
It's light.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, so play this one.
Check it out. We're playing some Kemper profiles. It's the Samson BC M13. This is one of my favorites of the pack. Go-to, one of my favorite speakers. Kind of the 3 means the dial, the volume's just like on 5.
It couldn't handle that much playing.
Add a tune already. Add a tune.
Yeah.
It's the G probably, and they're all known for that. But But no, this Chipsen does not stay in tune very well.
Right. And it's got, I would just say, an overall like cheap feel to it. You know, like the neck, we talked about before,
yeah,
but like
a highly inauthentic kind of thing going on.
Right.
What? So this guitar, $300 delivered to my door. So to be fair, I mean, I guess this is a $250 guitar. I mean, a $270 guitar. Playability wise, how would you rate it?
I mean, this is kind of setting the scale, right? So I guess everything's out of 10.
Everything out of 10.
It's like a 3.
Like a 3.
It's low.
Yeah.
You know, I've played worse, but not many. You know, I'm leaving room for the 2s and the 1s, but
yeah, it's the type of thing where at first you're like, oh, this action's kind of low, and then you start playing around, and you realize there's a ton of dead notes, so the frets are not like well done.
Right.
Sharpness on those.
The frets?
Yeah.
It's not too bad on the ends or like even just coming up the neck. One of the things I noticed the most is what you said about the sandiness of the neck and like kind of the scraping, and that would be frets as well. But it just has like a slinky, loose thing, not in a good way.
Yes.
You know, that makes it feel like a toy guitar kind of thing.
I agree. It does feel like a toy guitar to me.
And it's probably not gotten a lot of love in terms of setup or anything. But
it's set up low, though.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, someone
it's not super high,
was intentional about it, you know.
Let me try the neck pickup.
Go ahead with the neck pickup.
Before. Middle. Bridge. Part of my issue is the bridge sound of this. It loses me completely.
Yeah.
Which now we're going into the tone.
The pickups are terribly microphonic on that guitar.
Yeah.
I think that most of the Chipsen pickups will be kind of microphonic. I don't think they're potted or anything. And you know, my overall take on that guitar is the Chipsen seem to be, they're going to look the part.
Yeah.
And that's where it's going to stop.
The aesthetics are great. And I don't know where you would place that on our scale, you know? But, maybe Mojo. But
so I'm going to say for that guitar, because I've played all these a bunch, or I've played that one a bunch. Playability, I'm going to agree with you, a 3. And I'm only going to say a 3 because it is set up low, and that's nice.
If it
was set up high, that thing could get to a 0 because it's got a lot of issues.
Yeah, totally.
No, you know what? I'm going to give it lower. I'm going to give it playability a 2.
Okay. And you could probably bring it up if you put some love into it.
Yeah. I'm going to give that playability out of the box a 2. I'm going to give the tone. I think those pickups sound good, but they're microphonic.
Yeah.
And I think they have a vintagey vibe. I'm actually surprised anytime I hear that guitar how good it sounds.
Okay.
But they're not like, I mean, it's not like, you know, write your mother about it kind of tone, you know.
And one way to think of it is, would I replace these? You know, like, it's almost like 5 and above. Like, I wouldn't replace them. 5 and below, I probably would, you know.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I would say I'll give it a 4.
Yeah, 4 is good.
I'd replace them, but for what came, I was expecting less.
Right. Okay,
so that's nice.
What about value? So that's 3 and 4 so far, which I agree.
In terms of value, I'm going to say a 5. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to go right in the middle.
Okay.
If you are a person who wants to put work into this guitar, if you want to learn how to polish some frets, level the frets, if you want to learn how to set up a guitar, make some adjustments, and you like that it says Gibson. I mean, here's the police. You hear this? Coming to arrest us
for
having a Chipsen on the show. If you like that thing, you know, you like that it looks like a Gibson.
Like a project guitar that is...
And you want to put work into it, I think there is value there.
Yeah.
Is it moral? I doubt it. But if you are a person, but if we're talking about value, like what do you get for the money? I think there's a lot better guitars for the money.
Yeah.
Out of the box.
Totally.
So I'm going to say a 5. Yeah. Because if it's just out of the money, if it's just out of the box value, I'm going to say like a 3.
Yeah.
If it's, But if you're that other person who's like, I want this, I can do all this work, I already have pickups, I'll replace, I'll do all that stuff, then it's a pretty good value. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I think the bones are really nice.
Right.
The wood is good. You could sand that neck a little bit. Like it is a playable guitar. You need to put in a little work, and I think you can make it awesome.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I mean, for the price point being so low delivered, I mean, that has to register pretty good on value, even if it's not good, which it kind of isn't good.
So I'm giving a 5,
I'm
a
good.
3,
Yeah.
and a 2. So that's a total score of 10 out of 30.
Wait, you went 3, 4.
3, 2, and 5.
You went 2. Okay, yeah. And what was the last? Oh, Mojo. We're missing the fourth
There's
category.
no Mojo.
It's 0.
0.
Wow.
Which it's not. I mean,
Okay.
let's just do Mojo as extra points.
Okay,
Like if
gotcha.
a guitar has Mojo, got something that you can't quite explain, maybe that gives it a couple extra points.
I see.
You know?
I'm going to give it 1 point for the aesthetic because I think it looks really cool.
Okay.
Of Mojo. But that's still not a lot. So where are we at, 10 or 11 out of 40?
What was your score?
Mine was 3, 4, 5, and 1.
Yeah.
So 7 plus 5, 12, 13. I'm at 13.
All right.
out
You
of
gave it a
40.
13. I gave it a 10.
All right.
Let's try the Harley Benton.
Okay. Next
Because
step up, right?
This is where, and not a huge step up. The Harley Benton here is going to end up running you about $329 plus maybe some shipping to your door. I think I shipped this guitar to me for like $25 or something.
Okay.
I think you could even get them for free shipping on Reverb.
Okay.
So,
Where'd you buy it?
the Harley Benton store operated by Thomann on Reverb.
That's in the U.S.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bridge pickup?
And so this has Tesla humbuckers,
Yeah, that's
which
right.
they advertise as Tesla humbuckers.
Yeah.
And I think that's just another house brand, but it probably adds to the value of the guitar if you can say with these humbuckers, even though no one's ever heard of Tesla humbuckers. I've never heard of them ever.
Elon Musk.
Sure, there must be some association there. Somebody in China probably thought that was really slick.
People like that word.
And whatever, Thomann just ran with it, right?
That's probably dead on accurate. All right, here's bridge pickup. Middle. Neck.
Go back to the bridge there for a second. I really like this.
Yeah.
I think for me, having played these, this is not my favorite neck profile.
Yeah, it's a little thin.
The
or
action,
small.
yeah, and that's a subjective thing, right? So I don't want to like cut it down too much because some people really like thinner necks.
Yep.
Playability wise, I could get that lower and playing even better.
Yeah.
But that out of the box, I don't get. It plays way, way, way better than the Chipsen.
For sure.
Like there's no
Yeah.
fretting out. There's no, at least nothing that I like picked up. You might be able to find a spot or something, a dead spot, but no,
It's great. Yeah.
it rings. It's great. I'm gonna say playability 6.
Okay.
And I mean, I'm gonna be tough because we got some great guitars coming out. We got some like really.
There's room to grow.
So I'm saying this is a $329 guitar. Playability a 6. The tone I'm impressed with. A 6.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say a 6 because I think you could gig those. I think they're PAF-esque enough.
Totally, yeah.
But of course you could improve the guitar by putting some Duncans in.
Mm-hmm.
And for value,
This might be,
I'm giving that a 9.
Yeah.
I think there's very little you could do to that guitar at that price point, spec-wise, to give it more value.
How much was it?
$329.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Wouldn't even consider a Chipsen at that point.
And I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
And I'll just tell you, this is like the V2. they did used to have different humbuckers, and these are better.
Okay.
So they did kind of improve it already.
Yeah.
You know?
Huh.
So, and that's why I think it's really dialed in.
Okay.
I think it looks pretty decent too.
Yeah.
Like the headstock, hold that up for the headstock. Like, if you're not going to have a Gibson, I think they did a good job making this look.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't look like a boutique brand, but it doesn't look like something I want to hide.
Right.
And it doesn't strike me like Epiphone, where it's like, what is that? Oh, it's an Epiphone. Aren't you always a little disappointed when you see that Epiphone headstock?
Yes.
It's and I see a lot of people on Instagram and stuff sometimes. They'll just record the guitar, but they'll leave the headstock out of frame.
Oh, funny.
And then you realize it's
yeah.
You know, like
they don't want you to know.
No, Epiphone's not that cool in all the models.
Do you like it more than the vintage one, or are they about the same? The vintage brand.
This one might be a better value.
I'm sorry, the look and the design, I guess, logo.
We'll
get there.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But here, let me hold up that vintage one so people can see it. We're like bouncing guitars because we literally have nowhere to put these guitars. Let me hold them.
There you go.
Okay, hold yours up.
Uh-huh.
Beautiful.
Can you see that?
Yeah, here's mine. I mean, it's a preference thing. That's more vintage and classy. This is like, hey, look at me, Paradise City.
Yeah.
You know, this is the Tone Junkie, special edition because I put the sticker on it.
I think I slightly prefer the look of that headstock and logo and everything to this, but that's all
I actually think I prefer the Harley Benton.
Huh.
And I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
I think without the Tone Junkie thing, this thing feels a little blank because there's nothing underneath there.
Yeah, you got the nice like inlay up here. Is that an inlay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they did like fake abalone.
Yeah.
But it's a toss. I mean, they're both obviously very similar guitars.
Dude, I'm kind of tracking with you on all your numbers.
Yeah.
I might go a little lower, like 5.5 instead of 6.6, but it's all in that range. It's right in the middle of the road. I'm shocked at the price, especially having played that vintage and other. That's almost double, right? That's $650 or whatever.
Yeah, this is like $600, $650 or something.
So for $329, gosh, this is in terms of like a beginner guitar, or like this would be a no-brainer to give to anyone picking up a guitar. And like you said, gigging with it, you could do it, which is saying a ton for that money.
All right, so score the Harley Benton.
I think I'm going to go with the lower numbers, 5.
5 for playability.
5 for tone. I'm with you on the value. I'd go 9.
At a 9.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I don't know about Mojo. Maybe it's just flat, 0 or...
Yeah, I'm not giving any points for Mojo. So that puts you at 19.
Yeah.
Me at 21.
Out of 40.
At a 30.
Oh, yeah, plus
30. Because the Mojo, we're just adding bonus points
gotcha.
here. So,
yeah, pretty good.
So, I mean, we're scoring this double what the Chipsen was.
I stand by that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I think you could almost go value to a 10, but I don't want to say that.
Yeah.
Because maybe you could improve something. Maybe the tuners could be a little better.
Yeah.
You could do something, you know what I mean? But, there's always room for improvement.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. Now, we talked about last episode, or first episode, that this guitar and that guitar are probably made in the same factory or to the same spec, because the headstock is the same, even though it's different manufacturers.
Yeah.
So that guitar, $329. This guitar, I think, this vintage brand guitar, I think is really, I look at it as it's that Harley Benton with the mid-range improvements. This has all Wilkinson hardware.
Yeah, that's right.
This has the Wilkinson humbuckers. This has a cool Tone Junkie logo. That's instant mojo.
Pretty cheap ad.
I think so.
Yeah.
So, these stickers were free. So, check this out now.
Try that one.
Check out the vintage.
Bridge pickup. Middle? Neck. Back to the bridge.
I mean, that guitar, Harley Benton plus the upgrades, 600, 650.
Yeah.
We're almost double the price, but we're still in a pretty nice, affordable range.
Oh, for sure.
650,
yeah.
100. I mean, that's still very affordable for guitars. It's not. I don't want to call the Harley Benton bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
But in terms of price,
you can't get much lower.
It doesn't get much lower.
Yeah.
I mean, not and still being like a serious.
You can't get $199 for a Les Paul style.
No,
you know?
I mean, I think you can, but
yeah.
but not
not on this show.
Yeah, come on. This is serious. So,
I got to be honest. I think I liked this a lot more the last time I played it.
Yeah.
Today, it's kind of giving me a little bit of a not worth it vibe, you know?
Interesting.
I mean, I had to tune it a bunch, kept slipping, and I mean, back to back, I felt more comfortable on the Harley Benton,
really,
which I did not expect.
But you were ecstatic about this 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I might have to chop this up to a little bit of you being a fickle pickle here.
It could be
because
variance, you know.
we really love this thing.
Yep. I mean. So no problem with the pickups, no problem with the value and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's really just kind of how it feels playing it today. It feels I'm like fighting it a little bit.
Yeah. So tuning is an issue on, I think, all of these guitars at these price points. I do agree with you that the tuning stability of that guitar, I don't think is superior to the Harley Benton.
Oh no.
So even though I feel that guitar has a ton of improvements.
Right.
It doesn't feel like that got improved a bunch.
Yeah. No,
but for me, I'm going to say playability. I think that guitar plays great. I think you can compare that guitar playability-wise to a lot more expensive guitars. I like the neck. It came set up like that.
Yeah.
Now, there's a possibility somebody set it up before me.
Yeah, true.
But I'm just going to judge this out of the box. I'm going to actually say 7.5.
I love the 0.5s.
Well, I don't want to quite go to an 8.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, it's your points.
So I'm going to say 7.5 because is it a 10? It's not like the most amazing guitar that I've ever played. I'm not even going to give it Mojo points.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say 7.5 for playability. For the tone, I'm going to say 7. And I'm going to say why. You don't need to replace those pickups at all. If they're not your thing, they're not quite your thing.
Yeah.
They're not a super classic PAF, so they wouldn't be my main thing.
Okay.
But as a guy who owns a lot of different pickups, I'm not going to replace those to try to make that guitar more like a vintage Les Paul.
Yeah.
I think they're a little more rockin', a little brighter. And I like that it makes that guitar sound not quite like a Les Paul, but like a more modern Les Paul.
And you liked it more than the Harley Benton pickups.
I do like them more than the Harley Benton pickups.
Okay. But they're like 1 point more, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe because also I'm just me personally, the Harley Benton pickups are PAF-like.
Okay.
And they're not amazing at doing that.
Yeah.
But they sound PAF-ish.
Yeah.
That's good. These just offer me something I think sounds good. And I like the variants in my collection.
Okay.
I'm going to give it value an 8. Slightly less value than the Harley Benton.
Okay.
But if someone said to me, should I get the Harley Benton or should I get the vintage? I would say it to them like this. The Harley Benton is better value, but I think every upgrade is worth the price in these vintage guitars. I think everything they improved
bridge
is worth it at 600, 650.
Pickups,
because if you started doing it yourself to the Harley Benton, you're going to quickly get up there.
Yeah.
Go get a set of Duncans.
Yeah.
Even you know what I mean?
That might be the question you ask. If I get the Harley Benton, am I going to upgrade it a bunch?
Yeah.
If so, maybe go for one of these vintage brands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a thing where you go, well, maybe I'll upgrade it in the future. Because I think there is a value in having something you can use today and then maybe improve upon tomorrow. Then the cost doesn't feel as big if you get new pickups in a year.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like, it feels like a different thing.
Spreading it out, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So what's your total score?
So that brings me to 23.5.
Okay.
So I rated the Harley Benton at 21. So I guess I'm saying I like this more.
Yeah.
But value-wise, I think the Harley Benton is actually a better value.
Yeah. The way I think about this guitar in terms of points, I think it plays worse than the Harley Benton, but sounds better. So I guess I would go...
Sooze, this is the... You did not say this a week ago.
No.
You actually liked this guitar playability-wise more than the other one.
Right. Day to day. I don't know, man. How to chalk it up.
Tone is a journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's a journey of tone.
So I not by much. I was 5.9 on the other one. I think I'm going to go 4 on playability on this.
Mm-hmm. Wait, Sooze. You're putting this playability at the same as the Chipsen.
That's right. I should have gone lower on that. No, the playability was 3 for me. The tone was 4. On the Chipsen.
You're right. The playability was 3.
I would put it in between the two.
This is only slightly better. There's no notes fretting out.
All right.
There's no...
You're right.
I mean, is there anything wrong with how the guitar is
I'm going to go 5. I'll put it on the same as the Harley Benton, but...
I accept your score on the grounds that this guitar is going more out of tune today than the other ones we've played so far. Which is big. Yeah. That's a playability issue. Yeah. That's true.
So 5 for that. Okay. I'll go 5 on... Or no, 6 on the pickups, because I think they do sound better than the Harley
on tone.
Yeah, but
and they're not our usual vintage style thing.
Yeah,
but they're nice. But they
these are all very like fine subjective points in terms of what we're hearing in the room.
Is there anything you don't like about these pickups? Like when I listen, I go, maybe not my favorite pickup, but there's nothing like that. I'm like, meh.
Let me play them sounds very quickly.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. I'll just say one thing. Mm-hmm. Most Les Pauls sub $1,000 and above $1,000. A lot of Les Pauls struggle with one thing. This extra muddiness in the neck that people almost find unusable. Addison was just telling me, what pickup do you think I should put in my Les Paul? He's got a real Gibson.
Yeah.
What pickup should I put in my Les Paul? Because, gosh, the neck is so muddy. Mm-hmm. And I'm going, that's a thing.
Agile was like that. I could barely hear it. It was like, ooh.
And that guitar is not that way.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I like about it. But okay, I'm not trying to influence your score.
No. It's more than the Harley Benton. So I'm going to go
6.5.
I was going to say 7.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think they sound great.
Yeah, they do sound great. I gave it a 7 also.
Yeah. And then the value... I'm gonna go 7 as well. 7. Yeah.
So the Harley Benton, much better value. You gave that a 9.
Yeah, and I think it all comes down to if you left that alone, man, that's great. Like it's 329 or 369, whatever it was for that. Awesome.
It's true. Some of these improvements it may be subjective.
Yeah.
You might go, I don't think it plays better. I don't actually think the pickups are better. I don't value those things. And so
7 out of 10 for this, I think is like, it's a cheap Les Paul that you're probably going to really like.
Yeah.
know?
I will say about the vintage, I wish they had really improved the tuners.
Yeah.
If another $20 got me better tuners in this price point, that'd be worth it.
What do these run? Like if you just bought them on StewMac or something like that?
I don't know.
Okay.
But they don't seem to be much better than the Harley Benton ones. That guitar, the G still goes out of tune. And you look, maybe it's just that guitar, that one tuning head is not holding really well,
Yeah,
Because
totally.
it does mostly, to me, it seems to be the G on that guitar keeps going out. And you know what it could also be? That is a graphite nut. It could be that nut needs to be, it's getting hung up and it needs to be
that's true.
cleaned up. And it might be that if you clean that up, it would stay cleaned up. It would stay right. And the Harley Benton, they might tell you, I can't really fix it.
And we realize that all of these are movable points in terms of like setting up a guitar or height of pickups might actually fix some stuff. But today, as we're sitting, this is how it feels.
You gave that a 19, the same as the Harley Benton.
Interesting, because it trades off on certain
There's
things.
some trade-offs there.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I think that's very cool. Now, your guitar, the Agile.
Yes.
Before we pick that up, what have you done to that guitar? What did it cost originally, and maybe what do you have in it? Because I think we could probably compare it to the vintage, or maybe you might have maybe a little more in it.
Yeah, I don't think I changed out any of the pots. I was sitting here trying to think if I did that with the pickups. The main thing I did was I put Lawler Imperials in that. And so the pickups are not cheap. I think they were $400 for the pair.
Almost as much as the guitar. How much was the guitar?
The guitar was $400, and it came with a hard case.
Okay.
So
grab that.
Okay.
Grab that. Did you replace the bridge or anything?
No.
No, it
Only
came
the
with
pickups.
those graphite,
Yep.
Interesting. So I think,
and I will say that this fretboard is ebony.
Yes.
Not rosewood. Ebony. Yeah, like a lot of the other ones.
But. Yeah. So that Agile, $400, maybe it was at $450, $430. Do you remember something like that, right?
Yep.
And This is now a guitar sitting where a lot of guitars sit, which is it's a budget guitar that someone has improved where they felt there was improvement needed. Big improvements, Lawler Imperials.
Yeah.
Pickups now cost as much as the guitar.
Yeah, and the pickups in this were atrocious. I just want to say
Terrible.
that. If you had got it and left it alone, it would not have done well.
So, but maybe at this price point, it's you can find an Agile on Reverb. You can find a Harley Benton.
Yeah.
You can find one of these guitars that someone has already replaced the pickups. Maybe they didn't put in Lawler Imperials, but they put in Duncan 59s.
Right.
You know, half the price probably of Lawler Imperials.
Yeah.
Not quite, a little more than that. Probably one. I think 59s are like 120 retail or something like that.
Okay.
So I would guess you could find one of these.
Right.
So this guitar being a little more expensive than the vintage.
It's actually interesting. Like if you bought this, I haven't looked at the prices. I've had this for like 10 years, but you know, if this was $400 or $500 and you put $200 worth of pickups in it, you're almost at the price of a vintage brand, you know, $650 or whatever that was, you know?
Yeah. You're a little higher. You're a little higher,
these
right?
Pickups, yeah.
300 with those pickups. But right. With I see. With the Seymour Duncans.
Yeah. Something 250 or whatever.
Yeah. Then you are hitting this price.
Yeah.
And you maybe have a nicer set of pickups, but you haven't done anything else, right? Maybe there's something else wrong.
Yeah.
But you didn't feel there was anything else wrong with this guitar.
No, I played it for maybe 6 months, and I thought I actually kind of like it. This was me wanting to replace an old Les Paul that I had.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to spend the money that I had spent before, which was like $2,000. So I said, this is good enough for a Fender guy. This is gonna scratch the itch of having a Gibson, and I played it and I liked it, but the pickups had to go.
Yeah.
So that was it.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, this is a bridge pickup. Middle. Neck. Back to bridge.
I haven't played that guitar or known that guitar well. So tuning stability wise, how do you feel it performs?
I think it's really solid.
It's pretty solid.
I hardly ever have any issues with it. Yeah, I mean, is that the same kind of graphite
it could
as
be
the other one? Yeah,
it could be.
By the way, this is, if anyone's looking, this is a 3100M as the model of this. I got a bunch of them, but that's what I'm playing. I would say too, the aesthetics are pretty good. I like these knobs. The color's cool. It's close to one that's coming up, like that gold Greco. But I was actually pretty pleased with it when it came. I didn't know how it was going to look from the pictures, but you know, it's decent.
It's decent. I'll give it that. It's decent. I'm going to say, I'm just going to rank these. I haven't played this guitar a ton, but I did play it. Playability-wise, it was very solid. I mean, it's as good as anything else we've played today.
Yeah.
So in the spirit of that, I'm going to give it a 7. I'm going to give it a 7.
Okay.
And a half. Because that's what the vintage one was that I gave it, and I felt like it played as good as that, the way you have it set up. It played nicely.
Totally.
Now, you've set this up, or it got set up at some point.
I think the guy that did the pickups
and maybe the vintage
it,
one. Right. So, okay, at these price points, it's worth setting up your guitar. I don't know. You didn't really pay for it. I don't know. We can't remember.
Yeah.
Tone-wise, I mean, you've got Lawlers in there. It sounds great.
Yeah.
It sounds bright, airy, PAF-ish.
So sitting, you know, where you're listening and not playing, did you notice any difference between these pickups and
there's no way I could pick those out as $400 pickups. I didn't think they sound mind-blowingly better.
Yeah.
But knowing what I know, play the neck again. Tons of warmth. All the clarity you'd need.
Yeah.
Really
Not
dialed
muddy.
in.
Yeah.
So out of context, they sound like pickups.
Yeah.
But listening closely, knowing what all the other guitars sound like, knowing the sound here.
Yeah.
Play the bridge again. It's going out a little bit, but that sounds AC/DC classic rock.
Yeah.
That's the low line PAF sound. It's not as hot as the vintage one.
Yeah, totally.
So to me, that guitar does sound stellar. I can hear it when I intently listen for those things. No mud thing. You know, if that's your thing, that's your thing. I'm going to give that guitar sound wise an 8.5.
Okay.
And I'm not saying anything about lollers. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but you're leaving room
That's
too.
very
Yeah,
strong.
totally.
That's very strong. The Trini's a 10.
Dude, the Trini.
I mean, we need room.
That means
I'm really saying that thing sounds. That means I'm really saying that thing sounds great.
Yeah.
And for me, the thing is clarity on the neck of a Les Paul. What else are you asking for?
How glad are we that the Trini is not in this competition?
It'd be over 50 points, 80 points. It would have 40 points on Mojo alone.
I know. Have you done a video on just that guitar? That should come up pretty soon, I think.
But what do we call it? I've called too many things the greatest thing in the world already.
I don't know.
Words don't.
No time for rabbit trails.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So where are you at?
All right, I'm saying 7.5 for playability, 8.5 for tone.
Okay.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I'm really putting this Agile strong.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say this in terms of value. I don't. If let's say you have 700 in this guitar, 750. Is there something else you could get that I like better looks wise? I think so.
Yeah, totally.
And so I'm going to put like a little bit of a look thing in this value.
Yeah.
The Agiles are not my favorite looking guitars.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, the Harley Bentons and the vintage, I actually think the sharp cutaway kind of works.
Like here, you mean?
Yeah. In a way that one doesn't as much.
Yeah.
I don't love the double line binding.
Yeah.
It screams Korean Epiphone to me.
Totally.
Don't love that. The color is good. I don't love the Agile headstock.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And I think Harley Benton especially did a really great job making their guitars look like I don't need to hide it. It doesn't quite look like a budget Les Paul, even though I know it is, and it says it is. So I'm going to take a little bit away here.
Are you going anti-Mojo?
Well, not I'm just saying on value, because I think there are other guitars at this price point that kind of look a little better and maybe are very comparable.
Yeah.
This is tough. I'm just going to say I'm really between 6.5 and 7, but I'm going to say 7.
Okay.
No, that's too high. I'm going to say 6.5.
Yeah.
7 because you put the pickups in.
Without
it would be lower.
It's hard to. Yeah,
we would beat this thing up if the pickups sucked.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. The police would have come again.
I'm going 6.5. The police would have come again.
Just for the tone. I mean, I agree with almost everything you just said.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I would rather play this than anything I've had so far today. So playability, I would probably put as a 8.
Yeah, I gave it 7.5. That's a great playing guitar.
I'm great with it, especially for the price. Like this is well under $1,000, and it plays like a lot of Gibsons.
Really well.
The pickups I love, so I'm gonna give them an 8. It's I have played 9 pickups and 10 pickups. Like the Trini and like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But for this guitar, 8, and then value. Again, it's hard because we're bringing in the upgrades and everything. I think of this value as like a 7. I think with the way that it was shipped to me, I would have thought maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah,
I don't like work. I don't like this guitar.
It needed work, and now it got the work.
Yep. Yeah. So that's pretty high. I think it's probably. I feel the best about this so far, and I guess my score is what the highest it's been so far.
16 and 6, so 23.
Okay.
Is your score?
Yep.
And my score, because math is hard, is okay. So I'm giving it a 22.5.
Okay.
So you're giving it a 23.
Yeah.
We're pretty close on all these.
Yeah.
We're kind of far apart on the vintage. I said 23.5. You said 19.
Yeah.
Okay, but hey, different strokes, different folks. All these guitars, this sort of what I'll call the cheaper entry, more budget guitars,
What's just so people are tracking, what's the next one above this price-wise? Where are we going next?
So we're going to jump up because we're talking 650, 750, Harley Benton 350, Chipsen down there. We're all like sub 1,000. We're going over 1,000 now.
Got it. Okay.
And so we've got a $1,500 Greco, and then we're going to really start jumping up to some 23, 25.
Okay.
3,000.
These were all under 1,000. There's one between 1,000 and 2,000, let's say. And then we're going up.
And then we're going up above 2,000.
I'm excited to see what can beat this. Yeah.
So it looks like we're pretty close on all these, but of all these three, which would you buy?
For sure, this one. I would do the pickups, and I would, I'd be happy with this. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Of all three, I'd take the vintage. And we scored them that way.
Oh yeah,
so
that
was your highest score just by a little, but yeah,
it's working.
Yeah, it's working. Let's go to the I could talk about this forever.
Yeah, let's do it.
Big jump, I think, in terms of tone. Whoa. Big jump. I know. Sooze almost spilled his water off camera. You like kicked it next to a vintage Les Paul,
right?
Where it would have.
No big deal.
You got to pick in the strings there.
All right, you talk, I'll tune.
So this guitar is a Greco, and I recently played it this weekend, and to really give it the road test. It's a Greco Deluxe, Les Paul Deluxe. I believe it's from 77 or 78, and it is a copy of a 71, let's say, or a 70. So spec-wise, it's very similar to the guitar we started with, that actual Gibson,
the black one,
Deluxe, the black one. But this one models, I don't think the specs on these guitars change. This guitar is a little on the heavier side, but all those guitars were. Right. It has kind of authentic multi-piece body and multi-piece top, I would imagine. It's gold, so I can't see underneath it. It's got the wider headstock and the volute up top. It has the correct wood filler in terms of there's too much wood filler, and that's what gives it that browny kind of color on the back. You can tell that they really wanted to copy an early 70s Les Paul Deluxe, even though they're worth way less and less desirable than the late 60s models.
Right.
They were really going after something, and I appreciate that
Mm-hmm.
because these guitars have gone up in value a lot. I played this guitar this weekend to really give it a test. I haven't played for a long time a guitar with no wiggle stick in a church.
How was that?
Dude, I didn't miss it.
Did you
at
reach
all.
for it? Be honest.
I didn't.
Did you reach for it?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I've done that.
There's something about this guitar. There's mojo here.
Okay.
And so all I had to do, these pickups are a little on the dark side. I'm interested to hear them back to back with these two Deluxes. I had to use an EQ to just brighten the guitar up so that I could use all my normal sounds. Once I got the guitar brightened up overall, all my normal sounds that I use with P90s and the Sir guitars worked beautifully. This guitar I was so happy with. I might play this guitar the next 5 weekends I play.
Wow.
I just am like,
that's great.
It worked. People were like, whoa, nice Les Paul. Sounded like you had a little more hair on your tone. And I was like, okay, so I had a little more gain, but it was still the brightness I wanted. I have never been so happy playing a Les Paul live.
Interesting.
So to me, this guitar really speaks to me. It's part of the collection now. It's not going anywhere. You can borrow it sometimes if you'd like.
Yes, and I will. Let's hear it. Yeah. Jinx and bridge pickup.
Yeah.
Middle? Neck. Bridge. Golly. All right. It's good.
Playability wise, how does that feel to you?
It's interesting. There are things that I like more than the Agile and less than the Agile. It's a little bit rougher overall. I'd say the Agile is very smooth. It might be the ebony neck and kind of the it's very low action. This feels...
There's a little fight.
There's a little fight.
It's a little fight.
But it's not bad. Like I like it. I would also say the same thing about Trini. Trini is not like the easiest thing to play.
No, it's not. There's a little fight. I know, and I don't know what this is. You can change the slinkiness of a string by changing the break angle behind the bridge.
Right.
So you see how I have that guitar top wrapped?
Yep.
That's to give it a shallower break angle so that you're not pulling so hard behind there. However, I'll tell you this. You take 2 Les Pauls, same scale length, same everything.
Yeah.
Same break angle, one can be more slinky than the other one.
Okay.
So even though the break angle can change it, I don't quite understand what's always creating that slinkiness. This guitar is not the most slinky, and I'm working to make it the most slinky it can be.
Right. With the
Trini is that way too. I don't understand why there are guitars, same scale length, same strings, looks like comparable pieces, but you get more or less slinkiness. I do not understand that.
Right.
And maybe it's perceived slinkiness. Maybe the slinkiness is the same, but there's something about the size of the neck or something that is making it feel different. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you grab those strings and pull, and sometimes Trini makes you work for it. It's like Trini's playing the guitar also. This guitar a little bit on that. You know?
I would score him about the same with playability. I think I was 8 or something before on the
For
Agile?
the Agile? Yeah. 8.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing for the... Sorry to jump into points, but...
No, this is a very comfortable guitar, right?
Oh, yeah.
Really nice playing guitar.
Love playing it.
Yeah. It reminds me of vintage guitars.
Okay, yeah, totally.
In that little fight that you're describing. Tone, what would you say?
Dude, maybe like a 9, dude. I was feeling that.
Bro.
And I didn't feel like it was woofy. I didn't feel like it was too bright. I felt like it was perfect. Like that's...
Can I just tell you something?
Yeah.
I didn't tell you my score, but I already wrote it down. They're the same as yours so far.
8 and 9. But I mean, it's like I just played this after the Agile, and it's like, see you later, Agile. Now, we're about to talk about it. It's twice the money. It's twice the money. You know? You spent $1,500 on this?
Yeah.
Which, okay, I will say 2 things on value. That is an insanely low price for what this is.
I know.
A 70s Les Paul that plays and sounds like this, insane. But it's also double the money of a guitar that scored pretty well.
Let me interview.
Yeah.
Pro tip right now. If someone were to ask me what's the best deal in guitar right now, guitar prices have been going up. Grecos, Tokais, Bernies seem to have appreciated in the last 5 or so years less than everything else. If I bought that Trini Lopez for $7,500, $76, I think.
Yeah.
Most expensive guitar I've ever bought. I'm confident I could get $12,000 for that guitar if I brought it to Carter's right now. Sunny, I just sold. I bought it for $5,500. I sold it for $7,500.
Okay.
I owned it for 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
Everything's gone up in price.
Right.
Everything has just been going up. These have not been going up as fast. I think deal-wise, these are such a tremendous value right now. I'm watching these so closely all the time on Reverb. I already bought another Tokai, like a burst, beautiful burst with off-white buckers.
Yeah.
Because it just looks so freaking awesome, and I got a good deal on it.
How much was that one?
26.
Okay.
Now that's serious Les Paul territory, 26. But bro, you are not. I guarantee you that thing is going to be comparable to a $4,000 Gibson.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
The prices have gone crazy, and for whatever reason, people are sleeping on these Japanese guitars. So, now, I've had other Grecos that are not that special. I have a 335 over there.
Yeah.
I'm going to sell it. It's a great guitar. It doesn't have mojo
it doesn't
like
hit
this.
Yeah. I am going to add mojo points to this.
Okay. Wait, what was your over
the value.
The value. So you said 8, 9, which I also said.
Yeah.
Value wise, what are you saying?
What did I say on the Agile for value?
You said 7.
I'm gonna go 8 on this.
Yeah. Interesting. And you gonna give it some mojo points?
I'm gonna give it 2 mojo points because of how it makes me feel when I play it.
We are just slightly off from each other. I also gave it an 8, like I said. and a 9 for playability and tone. For value, I'm giving this guitar a 10.
Interesting. Okay.
And I'm also giving it 2 mojo points, which makes this guitar a heavy hitter. In these scores.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to total these up, but I'm going to tell you why. I think this guitar, being a vintage guitar, it's older wood, being that the sound of these pickups, like you gave it a 9, I gave it a 9.
Yeah.
It has like this complex thing that it doesn't just sound like anything. It doesn't. It has me listening in the same way that I listen to Trini and I go, I don't quite know what the next thing's going to sound like. Very three-dimensional. Play this again. It almost surprises me sometimes. It's got that that growl. Someone could say, "Oh, it's a little dark in the neck." It is, but it's like a nice, kind of beautiful, unique thing.
Yeah,
no part of me would entertain changing those pickups.
Yeah, this is kind of a finer point on that, but when I think about a neck pickup being dark, I think about the smallest 3 strings. I don't think about the low ones because I want that from the low ones.
Yeah.
But when I go up to the high E and the B, and if I can't hear the click of the pick, I know they're too dark. It's just woo, woo, woo on the top.
Yeah.
But if it's low down here and I get up here and it chimes a bit, I'm happy camper.
Let me show you something with this guitar.
Yeah.
Because I'm just going to EQ this a little bit.
Okay.
So all I'm going to do, Sooze, is go Studio EQ on the Kemper, and I'm just going to raise 3,000.
Okay.
I'm going to raise 3,000. I'm going to raise it up.
This is before the amp?
Before the amp. So I'm trying to edit these pickups.
Okay.
I'm going to raise it up 2.5 decibels.
Okay.
So let's play it without it first on the neck. Try it on the neck first. And now with that EQ on.
Tips and tricks.
Tips and tricks.
Right here.
Try it on the bridge without it. That sounds awesome.
I know.
That sounds really good.
I know. I tuned it.
Whoa, that sounds really good. Now here's with that little EQ. Nothing fake about that.
Yeah.
Just bringing out a little more of what's already there. The beautiful high end is already there. Just bringing it out a little bit more.
It's almost more telly-ish.
Almost more telly, which is something you could do with a microphone.
Yeah.
A little, you know what I mean? It's a fine point.
So you ran that the whole set long, no matter what position you were on.
That was all I did.
Yeah.
And I just went,
cool.
this guitar needs to be brighter because all my sounds were dialed in for brighter P90s.
Sir guitars.
This guitar, not quite as bright as those P90s. So I thought I need to make it sound more like P90s. Instantly, it sounds like that.
This guitar's a real winner.
So I said 8, 9, 10, and I'm going to give it 2 also.
Okay.
So that's 12, 20. This is a 29 for me.
Out of 30.
And 29 out of 30.
Yeah.
And you're giving it a 27 out of 30.
Yeah. Which, I was at a 23, I think, on the Agile.
Mm-hmm.
It's a better instrument. Yeah.
I mean, would you want to own this guitar?
Yeah. If you sold it, I would be first in line.
At $1,500.
Oh my gosh.
You'd be ecstatic.
Oh my gosh. May the record show.
That's why I gave value a 10.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking
all
day long I'll take it at that price. If there's another one, I'll take it at that price.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
All right. Moving on. All right, we're going to jump up to some other guitars that are much more expensive, and I don't think play better, and I don't think necessarily sound better than this
the one
guitar.
to beat, yeah.
Which is kind of why it's the one to beat. All right, so next guitar, Sooze. This is one you brought over from your friend Jared.
Yep, this is where we started the video.
Isn't that so funny? The Guitar Friends podcast We've got friends with guitars.
Oh, we should get Jared on here. We would have a blast.
Oh, I'd love that.
Okay, so this is I just confirmed on text. This is a 1979.
1979. This is the only real Gibson we have today.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
In the Les Paul Shootout.
Yep. And he paid around $2,000 for it, which is really low, I think. For
show off the condition. Yeah. Here's why he could pay $2,000 for this. This guitar in really good condition would be worth $5,000, $4,000.
Yeah.
Maybe 35 or something if you get a good deal.
That's the back of the neck.
But yeah, this thing is really worn. It's really. We played it at the beginning. We saw it at the beginning,
and it feels great.
Yeah. Awesome guitar. Mm-hmm. Like we said though, heaviest in the world.
It is so heavy.
This is the Mjolnir of guitars. Only Thor could lift this guitar. Right. It is so heavy.
Are you worthy?
It is, Cap and Thor. That's it.
Gosh. All right. Well, you heard it a little bit before, so I'll play it kind of quick. But this is a bridge. Middle. Neck.
Yeah.
It's a cool guitar, man.
That is a cool guitar.
It plays really, really well. Like, I'll get that, I don't like the pickups as much.
And those are the old original.
These are just,
well, they're from the late 70s. Yeah, I don't know how the pickup construction changed from the early ones to the later ones. Yeah. A lot of the Norland era stuff changed as the years go on. Yeah. I don't know that those changed though. Mm-hmm. I imagine they did. In terms of labeling, the mini humbuggers are labeled like the real ones or like the big ones. So they go to patent number, then they go to patent sticker. But in terms of construction, I don't know how they compare if early ones are more sought after or if they're the exact same.
Yeah. Do you happen to know like the people that made the Greco pickups? Is it just like copy them exactly like
so
that?
I think that's kind of their ethos because that guitar is very much like let's really try to nail it. You can see the headstock, the shape, the volute, the everything. I think they even tried to like age the finish a bit. Like I think that's why the finish is a bit darker. It's supposed to look darkened. Okay, I'm guessing, or it maybe they used a different paint and that finish really did darken over time. But it's not. It's a little more of a mustardy color.
Yeah. I prefer those pickups to these, which I didn't think I would.
I do too.
Yeah,
I do too. And
but playability is really great. I'm giving it Mojo points for sure because it just has that old.
Yeah,
I like a guitar that's worn and feels like it's been toured with and it's been loved and played a bunch.
Absolutely,
I think it's really cool. This may be one of the most comfortable Les Paul necks I've ever played. Yeah, because of the wear and like the
So this is where I struggled, Sooze. Mm-hmm. It's a really nice playing guitar, but where do I put my complaints about heaviness?
The heft.
Is it in playability?
Yeah, you got to ding it somewhere.
Leo, come here. My son is here. Come here. Stand right here. Try to just...
Oh, this will be interesting.
Keep your hands on it so it doesn't drop. But Leo, try to hold that guitar. Try to hold it. Like just try to pick it up a little bit. How heavy is that?
Really heavy.
See, really heavy, he said, if you couldn't hear him. Leo, how heavy? Here, come speaking to my mic. How heavy was that?
Like, that was really heavy. like, what is that, like 30 pounds?
Exactly.
There it is.
Probably 30 pounds.
Yeah.
All right, go play Roblox.
It's objectively true.
What have we learned on the Guitar Friends podcast? Even a child can tell when a Les Paul is way too heavy. Where do I put that complaint? Because here's what's going on in my head.
Yeah.
It affects value to me as well. because I like the sound of that guitar as an alternative.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's not my favorite, like, oh, that's the best guitar I've ever heard. But I go, well, wait a minute. That sounds Les Paul-y. It's bright. That kind of sounds like would think a lot of mini humbuckers would sound.
Yeah.
I think it's a good sounding guitar. I think in the Les Paul family, you definitely want a brighter alternative. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
So, but if I own that guitar, it's so heavy.
Yeah.
I would never take it out of the house.
No.
I would never play it standing up.
Yeah. Which, it makes it not a good value if you're never playing the thing.
Is that a deal breaker?
Yeah.
But I do love that it's vintage.
Yeah.
So and this guitar has been owned by some players.
Yeah, totally. It was out with Kelly Clarkson, Matt Redman. Like, there's been a lot of, it's been to a lot of, parts of the world, which is just cool. I mean, if you think about guitars with stories and songs in them, like, which I happen to believe. So, I would put the weight in playability, and it dings it, which is sad because I think it plays great. But the weight.
I'm giving it a 6 for playability.
Okay.
And it's the weight.
Yeah.
It's the weight to me where I'm going, would I ever take this?
If it's 9 pounds, what do you give it?
7.5,
higher,
an 8, an 8. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it plays well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go 6. Yeah, that seems right. I'd probably go 8 if it was, 8 pounds or whatever.
Tone wise.
Oh man, I think I'd rather play the Agile pickups than these, and they're Lawlers.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
So I'd probably go 6.
Okay.
On tone. Yeah,
I'm gonna go 7.
Okay.
Because I think if you're not a Fender guy, if you're a Les Paul guy, this is a great sounding, brighter tone that is going to be like super in your wheelhouse. Like, you know what I mean? I dig it. Value. Look, for $2,000, that's a really good deal on that guitar.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm going to approach it a little more from like what those guitars go for. And if you were going to buy one of these and it wasn't so beat up,
that's true. Yeah.
I'm just going to think a little more on the I'm going to factor in that there's a little bit of a unique guitar.
Which would be what, 3K, 4K?
I think this should go for $3,500. Definitely not lower than $3,000 if it were in good condition. It's beat up. You might be able to find one in that condition, but you don't see guitars in this condition all the time.
Yeah.
Man, this is hard, dude.
If we're going with your idea of going on Reverb and buying this, I'd put the value at like a 5.
Yeah,
maybe less. It's just not worth the money to me.
I'm gonna say 6.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna say 6, and you're gonna say 5.
I'm
right?
5. Yeah.
Mojo points.
Dude, it's got mojo. I'm gonna add in 2 more mojo points.
Okay. So with your 2 mojo points, it actually becomes a 19, which is what I gave it.
Okay.
So you gave it 2 mojo points. So we're both at 19.
So it's 3rd place for me. Is that right?
Yeah.
So far it goes.
I think so.
The Greco, the Agile, than this.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
That seems right. I'd rather play the Agile for $800 than this for $3,000.
Right. Yeah.
100% all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
PRS.
It's PRS time.
It's PRS time. Let's do it. All right, Sue. So that guitar, this one, Ted McCarty.
Okay.
Ted McCarty model. This is the often forgot about PRS model. They don't make it anymore.
Okay.
But right after the lawsuit, PRS came out with this guitar, and I would say this guitar is the closest thing that you could imagine to a 594, but with a single piece bridge.
Okay.
And so right after the lawsuit, it looks like a single cut. It's a 10 top PRS, but right after the lawsuit, they came out with this guitar, and it was basically their single cut, but in a 25.5-inch scale length, so Les Paul scale length. And this is where Paul first did the 5708 pickups. Okay. And he found a bunch of NOS wire, which is the same copper wire they used on PAF pickups. Apparently he found it somewhere. Someone had bought this wire. It had been sitting in warehouses, transferred around. And finally someone was like, hey, this is guitar pickup. Like, this is the same wire that they actually used in guitar pickups. And somehow Paul located it. And it was valuable to him and not many other people, or valuable to the guitar world, and I don't think very valuable to other people much.
We want
it's just
that.
copper, right? Okay. But to him, it was like, that's the copper, right?
Yeah.
So he made these pickups. You can still get these pickups today, but they're out of that specific wire. This is the initial 5708 run.
When do you think this was made, this guitar?
In 2008.
Oh, wait.
The pickups were introduced because 57 is supposed to be like the 57s, but in 2008.
Okay.
That's the 5708 name. And then this model didn't last that long, and most of them were single cuts or double cuts, and some models even came with P90s.
Okay.
And these go on Reverb. You can find them for $2,500.
Okay. What would be like a comparable current model that they have?
594.
That's 594 is the name of the single cut Les Paul.
They have a double cut and a single cut 594, and that's the one that people view as like the Les Paul.
Okay, replacement.
It's the old
24.5
inch. But now those guitars have 2-piece bridges. It's a little more accurate.
That's cool. I like the little bevel there.
Even look at the headstock. A lot of people see this headstock and they go, "What is that headstock?" It's the Santana headstock.
Oh,
and that headstock has appeared on very few guitars.
Okay.
Except for that Santana model, and it appeared on here, and I think that makes it look super boutique and cool. I think they did a killer job making this look like a boutique single cut, and it looks awesome.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Play it. Tell us how it sounds.
Bridge pickup. Middle. Neck. That's pretty good, man.
It's pretty good, bro.
I would say, first off, this if this was my guitar, I would raise the action. This action is very, very low.
Very low.
It's the lowest for sure.
But to me, that tells you how good those PRS guitars are. You can get that action so low.
It's almost laying on the fretboard.
It is really low. You'd raise it up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a little bit plinky sounding, and I don't think that's the pickups. I don't think I think it might be just I'm hearing the action is low.
It may have even adjusted and made itself lower just in the in the humidity. And I haven't set that guitar up in years.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never set that guitar up. It literally is playing like it
I don't think you can get lower. No, I think it would be right on the frets.
It's like super low.
It's super bright as well. Like it might be the brightest, I think, guitar clarity, whatever you would call that. It rings like a bell and it just kind of has that note separation.
Acoustically, do you notice that it rings?
Yeah.
It does, right?
It's a loud guitar.
It's a loud guitar. Good wood. Yeah.
Yeah, in the past, I have not loved this guitar for like demos and stuff like that. I've used it when I need to for a heavier part or something. Mm-hmm. But what's funny is like going back to back with all these Les Pauls. We're sort of in a Les Paul mode right now, you know? And this thing really speaks. Like it really kind of, to me, it stands out from the pack a bit. Not just because of the brand, and obviously it's the least Les Paulish, I guess, you know? But yeah, if you're going for that sound, this one achieves it really well, I think.
Yeah.
So
I think so too.
Yeah.
So playability, what do you give it?
Oh man.
This is the first time I've ever heard someone really criticize a guitar for being too low. Especially a guitar like this. This isn't an Ibanez.
No, yeah. It's almost like it's funny.
Too effortless to play.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's funny because we were talking about fight, you know, and so this one almost has no fight at all.
It's trying to play it for you.
It's almost like a Goldilocks. Like I would just raise it a little bit, you know, and but man, it plays really, really well.
I'm giving playability a 9.
I'd go 9. Yeah, it definitely is the most effortless to play, and so yeah, if that's what you're going for, this is it, you know.
And tone wise,
dude, I would put it right where I put the Greco, which I think was a 9.
You gave it a 9, yeah.
Yeah, for this sound, man, I don't know. I'm gonna reserve a 10 for like, you know. You know, I kind of wish as we're going through all these, we just had like a Les Paul standard. You know, just like a with
but the
humbuckers.
Is that a good representation of the Les Paul sound?
I don't know. I'm sure that
look,
will
we've
tell
got
us in the
Lawlers.
comments. Yeah,
we've got Lawlers, low wind Lawlers. These are supposed to be low wind, airy, beautiful, like the original ones from 57. And I've heard Paul say, if you really listen to a 57, they sound like P90s.
Yeah, huh?
And you know they're that bright, and these are bright like
They're
that.
bright, yeah.
He also makes a 5909, which is not as bright. It's a little more mid-rangey, a little punchier.
From memory, would you say these are as bright as cremas, or
cremas are brighter.
Okay.
In the sense, cremas really have what I would call like you put on an EQ on the Kemper and really did raise, like what I did earlier.
Yeah.
Is almost what I feel like a crema kind of does.
Okay.
You really raise the top end presence.
Yeah. I never heard those in a Les Paul. You had them in a.
I had them in a guitar that was solid, but I've played them in I want to say an Agile.
Okay.
But those will be brighter for sure. Not PAF-ish.
Got it.
Not miles away. Not like
you
know, they sound nice and kind of vintagey, but definitely brighter.
It just reminded me of that direction. Yeah, but I'm feeling this.
So that guitar, which I feel like I've seen them go for $2,000 at times. But it's been a while. But I'll say this guitar is $2,500 to $2,700 right now. Maybe you get a deal and you can get it for $2,350. I think there's a lot of motivated sellers right now at those at some of these prices. Value wise,
I'm smiling because I don't like PRS guitars.
Yeah, me neither.
They're just not cool to me. You know, I used to have one when I was in high school. I went to Guitar Center and I bought a custom 22 or whatever. It was like my first nice guitar, and I played it for 10 years. I loved that thing.
Yes.
And then I took it to a church that I just started playing at, and they're like, "Don't bring that." You know, like don't play that here. And it was like, why? It's like those not cool. You know, I was like, oh, so he let me borrow his like Les Paul.
Yeah,
he gave me a
cool.
Telecaster, and I was like, oh, my eyes were opened. To vintage, you know what I mean? But like,
so I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah,
I'm giving value a 10.
Okay,
here's why. I don't think you can get a better Les Paul.
Interesting. Hot take.
But I'm taking a point away for Mojo. Because my question...
Negative Mojo.
My question to PRS is, how could you make a guitar this perfect and this amazing and it doesn't have any Mojo? There's not a special quality about this guitar. It is like objectively the best way you could build it. There's nothing that makes... I've never wanted to make this guitar my number one. I've never heard anyone say these are the very best guitars anyone's ever made. They discontinued the model. The people still play the 594 and they go, it's better than any Les Paul. But you never hear anyone go like, I don't know. I mean, you hear people who really like the 594, but I feel like it's all a very technical...
Yeah.
The guitar is perfect. It resonates. It's loud. The pickups are wonderful. It plays super low.
Yeah.
There is something, and this is, I think this is Rhett Schill's take, right? On the dipped and toned guys were talking about this.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I don't get PRS. I like PRS. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But I get when people say that. I go, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
There's something there's a mojo. It's not like quantifiable about certain things.
Yeah.
And this guitar has none of it.
I'm gonna agree with everything you just said, but I'm gonna put all of that in value because to me, value comes down to would I pay that money for it? I would not.
You would not pay $25 for this guitar.
I would not pay $15 for this. I'd rather buy the Greco for $15.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
I would pay $1,000 for this.
Noted.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So where do I want to put my dollars? Not into a PRS. It's great.
Yes.
You know, so I'm going to put value at a 6.
Interesting.
It's really good, and you're going to get a good guitar for the money. But for me, I would never pay that.
Okay. Interesting.
You know?
So I'm giving it.
And Mojo, I'm leaving alone because it's reflected in value.
I'm giving it 27. Which is a very high score. Only the Greco has scored higher for me.
Okay. Second place.
So second place, I'm saying 27 because I think the playability. And here's what I'm comparing this to. Could you buy a Gibson? Could you get a custom shop Les Paul that is as good as this? You could not get a guitar from Gibson that plays this well. This is absolutely like...
Yeah.
I mean, look, you're saying how low the action is. It's like almost too low.
Totally.
It's slinky. It's effortless to play.
Yeah.
Play tone wise, it's just. To me, it sounds like if you ever have wanted Lawlers or low wind anything, this is the sound.
Yeah, totally.
That's the sound. And it's classic rock. And Desi, who has a 594, who's gone through all these pickups, he borrowed that guitar for months. He tried all these different pickups and different guitars, and at the end of the day, he told me those are some of the best sounding PAFs anywhere. Wow. He tried Duncan's. He tried all the PRS stuff. He switched out all his PRS pickups for other PRS pickups. He goes, those 5708s are something there. So is it every PRS or is it every burst sound? No, I think that's a 57 earlier, scooped, low wind. Is it the most rocking guitar? No. But to me, I go, could I get a guitar? That to me is still going to play nicer and sound better than guitars that Gibson is making for $4,000.
Right.
So I'm putting a value at a 10.
Yeah, I got you.
And you're saying -7. So you're saying 20, I'm sorry, value at 6.
Yes.
I don't know why I read that. So you're saying, so this for you is 18. You're putting this at a 24. Which Sooze it fits. That's less than the Greco, at which you had at 27.
Yeah, but more than the Agile, and that just goes to it. I mean, it plays and sounds amazing.
It's hard to knock it.
I know.
It's hard to knock it.
I wish I liked PRS.
I honestly, dude, I think I both of our scores make sense.
Yeah.
I'm saying objectively, it's incredible. I'm going to take a point away because how could it not have mojo?
Right.
You're saying value wise, there's other guitars I'd rather own, even though there's nothing wrong with this.
Yeah.
I get it. I actually feel the same way.
I play this in an empty room tracking a record. I wouldn't play it on stage,
Right. That's what I do with it.
Yeah. I know.
All right, last guitar,
All right,
and this is kind of a special one, unique guitar.
All right, bridge, pick up. Middle. Neck. Yeah.
Nice Git fiddle, bro.
Dude, this is pretty great.
So this is a guitar made by my friend Shad, and he has a company called Retro Sound, and they make pickups, and they also make some guitars, and I would say they sound like vintagey, bright P90s.
Okay.
So those are 50 nifties. So you can compare that to like a 54, 55, 56 P90. That would be in a 56 Les Paul. That's like a 56 Les Paul that he's made there. I think he has the guitars available at Coast Sonic.
And the pickups are by themselves as well for sale.
Yes, you can buy the pickups by themselves. I don't know that they have that he's made any of these single cuts available, but there's junior style guitars available right now. I'm sure he'd make you one if somebody wanted it. But sound wise, I dig this thing a lot.
Yeah.
He sent it, and I said he can't have it back. Sorry.
For good reason. Yeah.
So he cut me a deal.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna say what I paid for it, because he cut me a deal because I said, hey, dude, I know you wanted this to be on the channel. I want to buy it from you.
Yeah.
It'll be on the channel a bunch. And he said, okay, I'll kind of hook you up. You know. So I still paid a good amount of money for it, but I think he gave me a tremendous deal.
Okay.
I think these guitars should sell for $35.
Yeah.
$4.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I have a hard time paying a lot of times that much money for new guitars.
Yeah.
But looking at what I would compare it to, I think it's very comparable to a Gibson custom shop that you would pay that much for. Certainly plays better than a lot of Gibsons I've played. Now, Gibson custom shop is different than Gibson American production, and I haven't really played too many dog custom shop guitars.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever played one actually. No dogs.
Yeah. They're all pretty
But
amazing.
Honestly, I think that neck is super comfortable. That's why I wanted it.
Yeah.
Super comfortable neck.
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
So
I've said that a
playability,
bunch.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
Yeah, no, I think it plays really great. I love the heft of this neck. It's pretty thick, you know. It's easy to get around on. This is like the height and the playability is kind of what I would want.
Yeah,
like
that's what you'd want the PRS to be.
Yeah, if a PRS was like this,
it's low but not too low.
Exactly. Yeah, I really like how it plays. I'd probably go 9 on this.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. For me, sound-wise, I really love these pickups.
Yeah.
I think they're some of the best sounding P90s I've run into. Mm-hmm. They're not. I like the Ristrettos too.
Yeah.
Those are also bright P90s, but they're bright in the Lambertone way.
Okay.
They're bright, like they have extra presence, kind of add extra high-end clarity, a lot of clarity. These just remind me of vintage on the brighter side, but just vintagey.
Yeah.
You know?
Huh, that's
and
interesting.
so to me, I gave it a 9.
Okay. So I was just looking around. So we only have 2 of these guitars with P90s. This and the Chipsen. We have the most expensive and the least expensive. You know,
it's not even.
But I was just thinking, I may not love P90s.
Yes.
In a Les Paul, like I really like the. I think I like bright humbuckers in a Les Paul. That's what I hear when I pick up a Les Paul. I think it's gonna sound like that. So when I play this guitar, there's a little bit of a disconnect between what I think it's gonna do and what I hear it doing.
Yes.
And so because of that, I'd probably go like a 7. It's a high quality sound.
Sure.
But if I'm going Les Paul, this is probably not the quintessential sound.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Look, by 57, they replaced a P90 with the humbucker.
Yeah.
And then 57, 58, 59, and 60 Les Pauls
Off to the races,
are the ones, right?
Yeah.
So, in 56 is when the Les Paul got a 2-piece bridge and had P90s for 1 year.
Yeah.
And in 57, Ted McCarty makes the humbucker.
Totally, yeah.
You know? So, for 1 year, 56, you get P90s and a 2-piece bridge. The very next year, Ted McCarty makes the humbucker.
Yeah.
Rock and roll
that's
is born,
it, right?
You know, so fair enough. It's not fair enough. You know, this is more of a Les Paul, Mary Ford, How High the Moon. You know, kind of sound.
Yep.
Yeah, you know.
My buddy used to have a R6, I think they are.
Yeah,
That's like this.
Yeah,
exactly. Gold top, and I love that
6
guitar.
for 56.
Yeah.
Reissue 6.
Yep. I just, I had a Les Paul Standard, with it was black, and had the humbuckers and everything. I put Lawlers in that as well. But, it's a splitting hairs, but that's the sound. I liked his, but, the sound of the Les Paul is humbuckers too, but
I actually
are great, though.
I'm really loving having a Les Paul with P90s.
Yeah.
Because it's just different, and it still has a P90 sound, a single coil sound.
Yeah.
I think it's a really cool thing to have around. Am I playing this as my number 1 guitar? I have not been.
Yeah.
But I could play this on a weekend for sure. All right, so value-wise, what are you giving the retro sound?
It's the most expensive guitar in the room.
It is the most expensive. And
in this video, yeah.
So it's perfectly appropriate if you go, well, for $1,500, I'd take the Greco. I mean, or like,
Yeah.
And it works all the way down. Is the Harley Benton still a functioning, perfectly good guitar that you could gig on a weekend? Of course, and it's $320. So, of course, these extra dollars are not.
Yeah, what are you spending it on? I mean, where's the money going? It's handmade.
Yeah.
It's like custom pickups. It's the whole thing.
In the United States.
Yeah, this
it's
neck
like
is amazing.
A guy.
It is kind of unreal that you could get 10 Harley Bentons for this. They're basically the same.
Yes.
They come with pickups and they come with output jacks and everything, tuners.
Yeah.
I'm being facetious, but it's like, that value is low for me, because I don't spend a ton on this type of instrument.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A Gibson style,
Yeah.
So I'd probably go 5 on value.
Okay. Okay.
Just because I think I'd rather have.
Sooze.
I know. Hey, right. You're like, you can say it, and then no, you can't. No. Yeah. It's to me, it's like
now in the past you've said this is one of the best playing Les Paul. Like we
for
called
sure.
it the perfect Les Paul,
and that's why I'm glad we're separating.
And that's why you said playability 9.
Separating the value out. You know, it's like I would put this in terms of steak. Like a $200 steak is probably amazing, but 2 on the value. I don't love steak that much.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a $10 burrito.
It's interesting. There's like a value drop off.
Yeah.
For sure.
Diminishing returns
Yes,
is another
for
thing
sure,
that comes in
for
on
sure,
this.
for sure.
I think of Novo guitars. I've played a few, and I'm like, I would love to have one of these, but I will go to my grave having never bought one for $4,000. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that's just
yes.
that's
I
through
agree
the
with
roof. You know?
I agree with you. I mostly would tell people, is a Sir worth it?
Mm-hmm.
The standard JM,
Yeah.
I don't think so at the prices they're charging. They're
Oh,
almost
yeah.
$3,000 brand new.
Oh, that would
And
be
I'm going,
hard.
I was buying these guitars for 21 and they've gone almost 50%, it feels like.
Yeah.
And you know, it feels like if they roast the neck, all of a sudden it's 36.
Right.
It's like, how are we getting to this
Yeah.
price? It's an oven. Well, anyway, but you know, everything's gone up, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm giving this an 8.5 for value.
Okay.
And I'm giving it 8.5 because I'm going to put myself in the shoes of if I want to buy a Gibson custom shop, I think there's a really strong value here with a one-off guitar.
Yeah.
Maybe not one-off, but
Yeah.
I'm sure you could ask him to make it one way or a different way, and it houses the pickups nicely. Also, show the back of that.
Yeah.
Show the back. Yeah, is that not the most? That's a beautiful, wonderful wood grain that you don't see on all the time. Every time I look at the back of that guitar, I go, that's one of the best looking wood grains I've come across.
Aesthetically, this is the best guitar in this pack, and it's not even close. It's not even close.
You think that's the best looking by far?
100%. Yeah.
Right. We didn't just do looks. I mean, I think that's somewhere in value.
Yeah.
You
what
know,
you
like
pay
plus
for.
or minus.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. That flat gold finish is,
that's it, bro.
you know, gorgeous. And the headstock, you know, it's not just black. It's actually this dark stain
And
of
it's
some
great
like an
logo,
ebony
too.
or something.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see that.
I
but-
love this guitar, and it's every bit as good as a custom shop Gibson. It really is.
Yep.
That's why I gave it an 8.5. You're giving it a 5.
Mm-hmm.
I give it 2 points for Mojo because
Okay.
I think that thing plays so well, and that neck.
Yeah.
Whenever I have been playing that guitar as much as Goldie since I bought it,
Interesting.
and Goldie was like played 9 out of 10 hours when I'm just home by
Right.
myself playing guitar for fun.
Yeah.
That guitar's been basically split with Goldie. It's just whichever flavor I feel like.
Yeah.
So I've been playing that a ton.
I'm going to throw in a Mojo point
Okay.
because I was harsh on the value.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, but this neck is something else.
All right, Sue. So that leaves us with the Chipsens definitely in last place.
Yeah.
Number 8.
Okay.
10 and 11 we gave it.
Not
I
good
mean, out of
scores.
30.
Yeah.
You know, I don't recommend. I don't recommend.
Right.
Now, I will say, if you want a project,
Sure.
it's like buying a VW Bug from
Yeah.
the mid 80s that doesn't
That
work.
barely runs. Yeah.
Yeah, enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Enjoy your weekends. Based on our scores, the next lowest guitar, believe it or not, was the Les Paul Deluxe. We both gave it 19s.
The black one?
Yep.
Yeah.
We both gave it 19s. I think that was
Yeah.
the heaviness and
It's a high price.
Yeah.
And we didn't like the sound of it as much as others. It makes sense. Yeah.
yeah. After that, we kind of were we're pretty close with the it seemed like the vintage was or the Harley Benton.
Okay.
Harley Benton and the vintage. So Harley Benton I gave a 21.
Yeah.
You gave a 19. The vintage I gave a 23.5. You gave a 19.
Okay.
So you scored the vintage and the
Same.
Harley
Yeah.
Benton the same.
Yep.
I gave the vintage slightly more.
Yeah.
It seemed like we both liked the Agile on average. I gave it a 22.5. You gave it a 23.
Yeah.
So together we kind of liked that one more.
Yeah. For the low pricers.
Yeah, for the low pricers. So it seems like we're saying, you know, maybe an upgraded, affordable guitar is great.
Yeah.
And then Agile, and then Harley Benton and vintage are killer values,
Yeah.
and Chipsen's a little. Ugh.
Yeah. Totally.
When we get into the big boys, man, we were a little further apart on some of these.
Yeah.
But I think where we were the most far apart was probably the retro sound.
Okay.
I said 27.5. You said 22.
Yeah.
Of course, we're kind of the biggest discrepancy there. Then we had the PRS. You said 24. I said 27. You still gave it a very good score.
Yeah.
But I gave it almost my top score. I mean, 20. You know,
Interesting.
I've got the retro sound at 27.5.
Yeah.
And the PRS at 27.
Oh.
I mean, those are very close.
but your number one was a Greco.
But my number one and your number one was the Greco.
I did not expect that.
29 and 27. I mean,
Wow.
almost a perfect score for me, and I mean, very
Yeah.
close for you as well at a 30.
Man, if you just think about it, I'm glad our categories worked out because it sounds amazing and it's $1,500. Just think about that.
And I'll just tell people, it's the I think it's the EG 500 model.
Okay.
The Les Paul Deluxe. There are 2 or 3 on Reverb right now.
And I will be getting those before this video goes live.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, there are 2 or 3 up there.
Okay.
With slightly different, maybe different things going on, but it's that EG 500 model.
Okay.
And different years and stuff, but also different prices.
Yeah.
I think I got a good deal.
Do they make those now, or you have to get an old one, basically?
Yeah, I don't. It's not the same manufacturing locations.
Yeah.
Most of these guitars currently are not made in Japan anymore.
Okay.
They've all gone to Korea and Taiwan and stuff.
Plus, you can't really recreate the age. It's like what it is, you know?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a great guitar, man.
So, man, it looks like the winner's the Greco.
Yeah.
I feel like the Retro Sound and PRS are in a close second.
Those were the top three.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, pretty much for all of us. And then honorable mention to the Agile for sure.
It had a good showing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I felt we gave a properly strong nod to the Harley Benton.
Yeah.
I would recommend anyone who wants a budget Les Paul to check out the Harley Benton.
At least go to a store and play them if you can. Or
I think they're incredible values. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
That was good, man. I like that.
I will tell you this, too. The reason people might be thinking, well, you didn't hate anything.
Yeah.
I did some research and sort of have gotten rid of things over the years. So all of these were near what I thought was a really good contender for their price.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why there's nothing here that I hate.
We were not nice to the Chipsen. I mean, 2, 3 out of 10, these are not great scores, but, you know.
The problem with the Chipsen is really, if someone gave you that guitar, could you do anything you need to do with a guitar with it without putting in work or money?
Yeah.
No. You could not. Could you play it live?
No.
I mean, you could.
I mean, yeah. It would suck all the joy out of playing guitar
yes,
for me.
You'd have fretting out notes. You'd be looking at other band people. You know, could you record with it?
I don't know. Buyer beware.
Buyer beware. Buyer beware. I've been HW.
I've been Sooze. That was fun.
Sooze, what I think it's only fair that you play us out on number 1.
The Greco.
On the Greco. Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, awesome.
It is good though. Dude, yeah.
Dude, it's great.
All right. Well, when you get bored of it, you know where to find me.